We're going to continue reading the book, and we are on chapter 2, actually chapter 3, Telepathy Unknown. The book's called Prayer Breakers of the United States Government, written by myself, Robin Ariel, Ross St. Clair Holgate. 2 months into the contest, the amount for each new order was increased to $5 per order, $2.50 for each weekend subscription. As this could become very lucrative, I started to go out on weekends and in the evenings to see if I could make some extra money. As I solicited, 3 out of every 5 homes I asked ordered paper. A useful fact to be noted is that in the art of door-to-door sales, usually the odds are more like 1 out of every 10 will order a solicited product. With less than a month of active soliciting under my belt, only a month to go in the contest, I received a call from my district advisor notifying me that I was now in the lead out of all the carriers in the province of British Columbia, Canada, and that I could very possibly be the one to win the trip to Hawaii. At the closing of the contest, I had indeed won, with no one else even being close to catching up to me. I netted over $900 cash, took my dad to Hawaii for 14 days, a vacation that I'm sure that he will never forget. At the time they did the promotional pictures, I just turned 16, and a half-page color picture of myself appeared on the second page of a major newspaper, and this did absolute wonders for my self-esteem. The next subchapter is called Robin, the Art of Wicca. At the age of 15, while attending Argyle Senior Secondary High School in grade 9, I was involved in something that to this day I do not fully understand. I'd met a boy who was a little older than myself, and his name was Robin. For some reason, I felt myself being drawn to him. As he was older, he smoked, and he was obviously tougher, probably because of a harder home life than myself. I did not at first understand the compatibility of his befriending of me. At the time, I was a very strong believer in born-again Christianity, and our discussions ranged from God and theological topics trying to understand the universe. One day our discussions led to the origin of power of the mind, as in telepathy or empathy. He divulged to me his belief in witchcraft, specifically Wicca, the belief that all power originates from within oneself in a harmonious conjunction with all other life, such as plants, trees, animals, and even life of rocks. He believed that he derived power from doing this, but that he could only use his power for good as he considered himself to be a witch, a white witch, or of a good witchcraft. He invited me to accompany him home one day, and I accepted his invitation. We went to his room, and we were discussing his beliefs, which were completely opposite of my own religious views at that time. He showed me a wand made of white alder with rune marks burnt into it. Without asking, I picked it up to get a closer look at it, and his face went white. "You have great power, and you should not have touched my wand," he said. I apologized, to no avail. "You must leave now," he said, with gritted teeth, still white-faced and pointing to the door. Because of the change which had come over the other Robin at this point, I was scared, and I did as he ordered. I left. I did not see Robin for a few days after that event, and I asked around at school about him. That was when other schoolmates told me that Robin was in the hospital. I was told that Robin had tried to call up a spirit on the same day he had told me to leave, and that the spirit had attacked him. The spirit had physically hurt him as if he'd been in a fight with someone bigger and stronger than himself. A few days later, he returned to school, but Robin would not approach me nor speak with me. I sensed somehow that Robin was very afraid of me, and that I would receive no explanation by him ever in this regards, and I did not. These are some of the pictures on this page here. I don't know how well we can get a photo of them, but you can always go to Knowledge, Life and Aliens, talk to me in the evenings, or you can go to www.untoldmysteries.com. This is chapter 4, and this is called Differences Noted. Another aspect of my school years which needs to be brought to your attention was how I was considered different, not only by my peers, but by the adults involved in my life as well. The differences correlate with others of my kind, whom I've come across throughout my life. who we were considered different by their peers. A short list of people whom were considered different or perceived by others as special throughout their lives consists of Kathy, Cleta June, my mom, Grandma Ross, Colonel, Robin, Arian, Miles, Kendra, Kyle, and of course myself. During this editing, I will also add one more name, Peter James. At this time, I'm only going to write about myself, but you will be able to see the correlations as I write about them in future chapters within this book. The differences noted are varied and include physical and psychological aspects that can be recognized by others with the same characteristics, through the use of empathy or the ability of just knowing. On various occasions, it's been noted and stated by adults how intelligent I was or how well I would do in my life, and that I had a great future ahead of me. This is quite interesting since I was never an A student. Most teachers did not like me. I did not get along socially with my peers, and rather spent most of my time with adults. All of my friends were on a one-to-one basis at a time, rarely associating with any one particular group. I was not popular, and yet I would continue to still tell my stories. It would almost seem that I was not supposed to have any close friends for some unknown reason. My brothers and sisters would bring friends home on a regular basis from school. On many occasions, even up to the present time, people comment on the color of my skin after it has been exposed to the sun. My skin has a golden or yellow tinge to it, which is hard to describe, but humans note the difference. Upper body strength was another factor of difference involved in my youth, as it was with my son Darian's childhood. Physical education teachers, as well as students, were always surprised by my upper body strength in class, such as wrestling and gymnastics. My strength did seem to be stronger than average for a person of the same age, size, and stature. I was always good at things requiring hand-eye coordination along with physical strength, such as chin-ups, skiing, swimming, and shooting. During a required physical for the Canadian Armed Forces, the civilian doctor commented on the fact of my age of 21 and my smoking, then noted that I had the body of a 16-year-old in very healthy condition. On one occasion, I attended North Vancouver Secondary School for the first time in grade 10. Upon registering and leaving the administration office, I noticed that I had forgotten something and needed to return to the office. As I walked in, I caught the tail end of a conversation between two staff members, and I'm sure I was not supposed to have overheard one saying to the other, "Isn't he the most beautiful boy you've ever seen?" Upon realizing that I was present, one lady quickly walked away and the other asked if she could help me. I do not know remember who was more embarrassed, them or me. I can guarantee you that my face was red. I've never considered myself to be anything other than average in looks, but I've heard things like this most of my youth. This brings me to a conversation which I overheard between my adopted brother and sister, and which is very much more recent. We were having some sort of family gathering at my parents' home in North Vancouver just before the Soda moved to Abbotsford, British Columbia. And this conversation occurred about 5 or 6 years ago. Bruce, or Robin, hasn't aged since he was 16. He still looks like a teenager, Vicky said to Keith. Well, that's okay. It will all catch up with him at once, she said in a more antagonistic tone. I then continued around the corner where I had recently stopped to listen, when I realized that their conversation was about me. Their conversation ceased as soon as they realized I was standing in front of them, and I don't think they realized how acute my hearing is or how long my retentive memories are sustained. To this date, I did not let on that I'd heard them, but since it's relevant to my story, it is recorded here. At the age of 36, I still sometimes get identified for cigarettes. My sons and I get mistaken for brothers rather than father and son. The same references about myself which I've heard all my life are now being said of my son Gary. Oh, he's so intelligent, just like a computer. He's going to do great things in his life. My son is very intelligent, but like his father, he receives average or below average grades, doesn't like to do homework, rarely does, and is bored in most cases with school. After conversations and meeting after meeting with IEP teams, school officials, and teachers, I don't even understand how he does as well as he has and has gotten the grades he has. My son and I both like to sing, and when people hear us, they stop and listen as if drawn to something they don't quite understand. On more than a few occasions, people have, after listening to me, commented, "Oh, you must be a professional singer." Not even close and not true, yet music is a very powerful medium in my life. Music has an emotional quality that must be imparted by the singer to the audience. I put all my feelings, emotionally, into all the music which I sing.